Hey everyone, what is up? Jake here. I am the host of It's Called Soccer. I am going to do a little bit different type of video today where we are going to simulate the next few years for Jesse Marsch and Leeds United. We're going to go through this sim until Jesse Marsch either gets sacked by Leeds United, or we make it 5 years in the future. See what kind of surprises await. We'll go through the transfer windows, the histories, Jesse Marsch as the coach and his style. So let's meet back up in 1 year at the end of the 2023 Premier League. I'll see you guys in a year. All right, the English Premier League on the 31st of May 2023. And would you look at that? Leeds United have finished in 6th place. Man City wins the league on only 81 points, so a very competitive league. But I think anyone that is a Jesse Marsch fan or Leeds United fan is going to be super excited about that 6th place for Leeds United. Arsenal and Manchester United are in a free fall, finishing 10th and 11th. Romelu Lukaku finishes the league's Golden Boot winner. All right, let's take a deeper look into Leeds United and how their transfer window went. You can already see in 22-23, they've really spent a lot more than the previous years. And man, Youssef Attal, a 27-year-old player that can play all along the right side of the pitch. He is a player that if you've ever played FIFA Ultimate Team before, this player has hurt you. So it looks like he had 20 appearances for Leeds this season with 1 goal. They do need a right back in real life. They've just signed Roca, who can play right back, but really is a defensive midfielder. They also signed Luca Waldschmidt in this window, and Gilberto Sepulveda, Robin Quaison, and on a free, the center back from FC Porto, Chancel Mbemba. So let's take a look now at Leeds United's preferred starting 11 for the season and how Jesse Marsch lined up. Okay, so really interesting right off the bat that Jesse Marsch went with a 4-4-2. In real life, he does play with a 4-4-2, but it's a bit more preferred in the center of the pitch, more like a 4-2-2, which the game might think is a 4-4-2. However, with players like Jack Harrison and Rafinha, a 4-4-2 wide might be your best bet, with Patrick Bamford and Rodrigo up top. Now, really interesting to note as well that in real life, Leeds United are likely going to get rid of Rafinha and Calvin Phillips, but it looks like in the game they've been able to hold on to their 2 most important players, and they've been able to shore up some of their defensive woes. So we talked about Youssef Attal coming in and playing right back for Leeds United in the season, but Gilberto Sepulveda, the Mexican defender from Chivas, comes in 24 years old and makes 5 appearances for Leeds this season. So this, to me, they are set up for success. They now have some important players that are staying, some key players like Rafinha, Calvin Phillips, Jack Harrison, Patrick Bamford. They're all continuing on the squad, as well as shoring up some of those weaker areas for Leeds United. So Leeds United, they finished in 6th place in this English Premier League in 2023. They finished in a European competition spot. Let's now go to 2024 and see how Leeds United can take over with Jesse Marsch. Okay, the year is now 2024. Jesse Marsch has another year under his belt at Leeds United, or so I think. Leeds United have finished 11th in the Premier League on 49 points, so safely above the relegation and only 8 points away from the European competitions. Now it looks like Man City has won the league again, so sorry, literally everybody else of fans from the other teams. Robert Lewandowski moves to Man City and scores 26 goals in his debut season for them. So let's take a little bit deeper dive into Leeds. So Jesse Marsch is still there, the manager of Leeds United. They still have their captain, Luke Ayling, and we'll take a look at their tactics for this season. So they stay with a 4-4-2, but it looks to have switched around a little bit. Stuart Dallas now plays on the left midfield side. Calvin Phillips is still there. Now Koulibaly, I think that's going to be a transfer in for Leeds. And then Maqwell, the Ukrainian from Everton, has transferred to Leeds as well. Grilic, Attal, Mbemba. So the free transfer from last season, Mbemba, has solidified himself at the center of the defense. And Waldschmidt, I think Leeds bought him for 13 million in the last window. He plays up top with Patrick Bamford in the 4-4-2. Now, if we take a look over here, Patrick Bamford has played 42 games this season. Waldschmidt has played 46. So this really is the first team. Pascal Struijk playing 52 matches this season. All right, and if we do take a look at the transfers, it looks like we've solidified our place in the Premier League, but now the owners want to pull back a little bit. So they only made 2 purchases this season in Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth for £18 million and Mamadou Koulibaly from Udinese for £14.25 million. Now, if we take a look over here on the out transfers, it does look like finally Rafinha has left Leeds United for Paris Saint-Germain, but I think a lot of people will be happy to see that Calvin Phillips is still playing in the midfield. Now, I did see Mykolenko get transferred here, but we didn't see it last season. So in June of 2023, it does look like Mykolenko transfers from Everton to Leeds United for, has to be one of the record fees for Leeds United at £36.5 million. Now, 11th is obviously a little bit lower than the 6th place that they got last season, but Leeds did make the Europa League because of that 6th place finish. And it looks like, oh man, they've just been knocked out in the semi-final to Tottenham Hotspur. And who has won? So Milan beats Tottenham in the final of the Europa League this season. And if we go to the semi-final, I mean, let's just take a look at this path. Leeds loses 1-0 to Tottenham, 3-1 on aggregate. So hopefully that makes it a bit more tangible. And Leeds beat Feyenoord in the quarterfinal and Benfica in the second knockout round. So Leeds won 3 and drew 3, so they didn't lose at all until the semi-final in the Europa League, beating out I think this is FC Copenhagen from Denmark, FC Nantes from France, and then Club Brugge from Belgium. Overall, a very good and successful European season for Leeds, and they stay very close to mid-table at 11th. So Jesse Marsch is still the coach. Patrick Bamford is still there as the leading goal scorer with 10 goals in the league this season. And Calvin Phillips, what a key player to keep on the squad. They did lose Rafinha, but they've reinforced in other areas. Let's see, is Jesse Marsch going to be there in 2025? I'll see you guys in a year. All right, the year is now 2025. Leeds United has just finished a season where they saw a semi-final appearance in the Europa League. They finished 11th last season in the Premier League. Let's see now where they're at in 2025 in the English Premier League. And, I don't know, Man City wins the league again, but I don't see them in the top half. Leeds have been relegated in 18th place, tied Nottingham Forest for 30 points. They only missed out on safety by 3 points. I'm wondering now if Jesse Marsch is still the coach. I doubt it. But let's take a look here. Okay. Wow. Okay. Xavi is the manager of Leeds United in 2025 after Jesse Marsch is, I assume, fired. We can probably see here actually staff history of managers. All right. Jesse Marsch lasts until March 10th of 2025. So that's about pretty close to the end of the season actually. Adam Underwood takes over as caretaker, and Xavi comes in. He's been 50 days in the job, but RIP to Jesse. He lasts from 2021. Well, really, we put him there in 2022 until 2025. He had a good run here. Is he coaching somewhere else just yet? So no, he left Leeds. He has not gotten another job just yet. And it's interesting. It looks like his tactical style has changed from gegenpress to tiki-taka. So I wonder if that had anything to do with his sacking from Leeds United. And man, oh man, he was sacked in March of 2025. Poor Jesse. Now let's just take a quick look at what happened to Leeds over the season, because they were expected, I believe, to finish in 12th place. So the media predicted them to finish in 12th place Let's just take a look at what happened here. Obviously a lot of losses, but even home losses to Sheffield United, home losses to Burnley, home losses to West Ham, away losses to Wolves. I mean, all of these, obviously in seasons when you're getting relegated, I mean, look at this dire form. So right here after the Wolves game, I presume Jesse Marsch was fired. Let's see what happens to Jesse now. Is he going to be with another team when we check him out? He is currently unemployed. All right, for the fun of it, we're just going to simulate one more time to see what happens to Jesse, because I want to see where he ends up after his Leeds United job. He took them into the Europa League. He got them to a semi-final of the Europa League. So let's see what happens to Jesse Marsch in 2026. And if he's coaching another team, we'll find that out in 1 year. All right, we are now in 2026. Jesse Marsch was fired last year from Leeds United, and Xavi took over for him. So I just wanted to see where Jesse ended up in 2026 in the next year. And it looks like he has taken a gap year, if you will, and taken over for QPR at the end of the 2026 season. So if we go ahead and take a look at QPR and where they're at, Jesse Marsch is now the coach, but they have only had him for 50 days. So after Robbie Nielsen was sacked for a woeful season at QPR, Jesse Marsch takes over the club at Loftus Road in London, in White City. And let's take a look at what happened to Leeds. So Leeds completely dominates the Sky Bet Championship with 101 points, led by Xavi. They're back in the Premier League. Jesse Marsch takes over QPR. He'll have them for next season as they take on the English Championship. They had a woeful season, finishing in 20th, only 6 points above the relegation spot. Jesse Marsch stays in England, moves to London to take over QPR. Leeds United is back up under Xavi in the English Premier League. I don't know. Is this a realistic scenario? You tell me down below in the comments. So guys, if you enjoyed watching Jesse Marsch's progression from Leeds United into the Europa League and then down again to QPR, and you want to subscribe for more content like this, make sure to hit that sub button down below. Like the video so more people can find it. And I'll see everyone next time, and it's called Soccer. Peace.